Coming up on today's edition of Wildcat Weekly, the Improv Show and the Auto Show. All this and more coming up next.
And welcome to this week's edition of Wildcat Weekly. I'm Courtney Carpenter. Actors love to think on the spot. Josh looks into one of Nico's most popular shows.
The Improv Show is coming up, and you can't miss this amazing event.
The Improv Show is a theater production where a bunch of people get together for an hour on stage, and they perform both long-form and short-form improv games for an audience, and they get suggestions from the audience for scenes, and they make up the scenes as they go along.
Many wonder what makes the Improv Show different from other performances.
The Improv Show is a really unique experience because, for one, there's that level of audience interactivity from getting suggestions from them that makes the show really lively. It's a lot of fun, it's really funny, and the actors always have constant high energy, which makes the show just an absolute blast to perform and watch.
It takes a lot of thought to come up with ideas.
Well, first of all, we obviously get audience suggestion as far as a scene, so we have something to go off of. But then the main focus in an improv scene is really on the relationships between the characters. And so when you're thinking of things to come up with on the spot, you really have to think about how can I develop this relationship with this character to make it seem more appealing to the audience. So you're not really trying to be funny, you're just trying to think of ways to add to the scene and add to the relationship and add to the characters that are being created on stage.
The Improv Show is February 28th and March 1st at 6:30 and 8 p.m. For Wildcat Weekly, I'm Joshua Vida.
With more laws being put in place restricting technology in schools, Medea takes a look at one that NEQA students may fear is an invasion of their privacy.
Effective of January 1st, 2014, a new state law has been passed where schools may request a student to provide a password to any account to gain access to any social networking site for investigation.
So the intent of this law was to give school officials some tools, and law enforcement that work with school officials some investigative powers to discover if social networks are being used for an inappropriate or illegal purpose between students at a school.
Many outraged NEQA students are appalled by this decision and voice their opinions on how they feel that this new law would be an invasion of their privacy.
And I don't think it's a good decision. I don't really like it at all.
But school authorities cannot request any passwords without purpose. It has to be directly related to the school environment.
We can't just enter into someone's private space just because we want to.
Bullying somebody, saying things online about somebody, if you're slandering somebody.
The arrangement of drug dealing and the sale of drugs, to commit acts of academic dishonesty, file sharing tests, revealing test questions and test answers, or swapping and sharing papers.
Just take a deep breath, step back, count to 10. Whatever you have to do to just think about what you're going to say before you put it online and make it public.
So be careful on what you post. And for Wildcat Weekly, I'm Medea Mirza.
Even though most people can't afford them, it's always nice to dream. Jessica and Logan take a look at the glamorous cars of the 2014 Auto Show.
We in the car, we ride slow, we doing things that the girls don't do.
The 2014 Auto Show is filled with practical as well as high-end luxurious cars. But what draws people to these cars? The first brand we decided to take a look at was the Cadillac.
I think that number one, Cadillac, of course, is over 100 years of history. It has over 100 years of a history. I mean, it's an American brand, of course. I think a lot of people resonate with not just an American brand, but an American luxury brand that actually is obtainable for blue-collar folks that are just working really hard and trying to make ends meet, that they can obtain a luxury car. And yet, people who do happen to be business owners or happen to be more advantageous in life, they also can obtain an American luxury brand. And of course, you look around, we have completely reinvented ourselves as far as the styling, as far as the performance value, blending art and science together and becoming something that is very unique in the world of the automotive market.
All the luxury amenities and the off-roading capabilities of the vehicle are quite substantial, so people are always looking to see inside, get to know the vehicle, and learn a little bit more about what it can do on and off-roading.
The final car we looked at was the Italian upscale Maserati.
The draw to Maserati really has always been the mixture of Italian elegance, luxury, comfort, and the sports precision of a race car enthusiast. So all of our engines, even on the $66,000 Ghibli, are still hand assembled by Ferrari in Maranello, which is considered one of the most beautiful and cleanest factories in the world.
So be sure to save your pennies, Wildcats, and maybe one day you can buy one of these luxury cars. For Wildcat Weekly, I'm Jessica Porter, along with Logan White.
The Academy Awards are next weekend, and the film studies teachers are definitely looking forward to it. Joey sits down with them to see who they believe will win each category.
In honor of the Oscars, film studies teacher Miss Simsky talks about her hopes and predictions for the upcoming Academy Awards. First of all the nominees for Best Picture this year, what do you think is going to win and why?
Okay, so there are 9 films nominated this year, and I think it comes down to about a 3-picture race. The 2 I think have the best chance are 12 Years a Slave and American Hustle, but I wouldn't rule out Gravity because there's a lot of buzz about the director and such.
Do you think that Alfonso Cuarón has a chance at winning Best Director this year?
I do. I don't understand why the director and movie wouldn't win together, but for some reason the Academy does split. Last year, for example, Ben Affleck wasn't even nominated for Best Director, yet Argo took home the prize.
Are there any nominees that you were disappointed by this year, or anything that you think should have been mentioned that got snubbed?
I was surprised Christian Bale got nominated, and it's not that I didn't think he had a good performance. I just felt that normally Tom Hanks and what he did in his performance, it's not that it's any better, it's just they tend to like him. I also think a lot of people were disappointed that The Butler didn't find its way onto the list, or any of the acting from that.
If there was one movie that you could give a Best Picture award to, what would it be?
I think 12 Years a Slave is my pick, personally. I did actually really enjoy Philomena and Nebraska, but I don't feel they have the strength or the weight of something like a 12 Years a Slave.
Tune in to the 86th Annual Academy Awards on Sunday, March 2nd. For Wildcat Weekly, I'm Joey Traverso.
Thank you for watching this week's edition of Wildcat Weekly. Have a great weekend.
I woke up like this. I woke up like this. We flawless. Ladies, tell them